Shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone GMS and rule well. Peace and salutations unto the elect, which starts with the chosen men of the 144,000, the chosen. And to all the Akim and the Akwaf tuning in, I pray that this lesson is edifying. This is the brother Halal from the Great Millstone branch of Chicago coming at you with another lesson in truth. And there's a video that's making rounds, among the ministry right now from this modern day Pharisee, as the elder from the Kansas City camp, a Great Millstone called him, because that's really what these YAH Israelites are. Just the modern day Pharisees, as the elder called them. And this YAH only Israelite, as you can see, his name is called TMH, which stands for the Most High YAH Only, made this video called Eat My Body, Drink My Blood Challenge, Hebrew Israelite Christians, which is supposed to be, like a jab towards us, that teach of Yahweh Shai. And this brother, not this brother, this nigga, made a, matter of fact, I just let the video play, Salaki.
You are not smart at all. Your intelligence is on the negative side of the game, okay? You got the number 0. Your intelligence is below that. At least a -10 or a -20, okay? And I might be being far too generous.
So as you can see, he has videos of, of course you see the apostles. You see Apostle Tahar and Apostle Ramlab, which this is obviously artificial intelligence, but you got the apostles, you got General Yohana, he got all, these men, drinking blood, which is supposed to be a jab towards us because we teach, of Yahweh Shai being the savior, and him being in one accord with Yahweh Shai. And this fool, he's one of those YAH only Israelites, man. But this just shows you, the attitude of these niggas, man. Because here it is, we're out here preaching the downfall of this kingdom and this society, doing the office of a prophet, doing what a prophet is supposed to be doing. And all these other niggas want to do is lollygag around, make these videos, get on these podcasts, doing everything except what Yahweh Shai told us to do, man. From the ancient world, and it's carried on to this day. From the Pharisees, from those men that were trying to make the Lord's house a place of merchandise, to these modern day Pharisees today, man. But I want to start this off with Luke chapter 6 and verse 21. It says, "Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh." And, us, the true prophets, man, we're weeping. We're sighing and crying for the abominations that's being done in the midst thereof, man. Getting on these people, going into prophecy, going into how Babylon the Great is going down. And it's like everybody else is just in the spirit of folly, man. Making comedic videos, trying to be funny, making Hebrew, what the brothers call it, Hebrew hop or something like that, making these rap videos, making these AI videos, like what you see right here, having the apostles drinking blood, mocking, the men of the Lord, through this artificial intelligence, man. This is how you know who those men truly are, you know? And by those men, I'm referring to mainly these men right here, because some men that you saw that were drinking that blood, they teach other things that are contrary to what the scriptures say, man. Talking about how they serve a nigga God and so on and so forth. Verse 22, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. And this is a prime example, of reproaching, man. And casting out one's name as evil. Using artificial intelligence, using Esau's technology, to make generated videos of the prophets, of the men of the Lord, drinking blood. This is going the hell off. Because the true men of Yahweh Bashim Shai, we're not making no AI videos making fun of y'all. We too busy going into prophecy, trying to edify our people on giving them advice that can actually save their souls, man. Then he titled it the "Eat My Body, Drink My Blood" challenge. Like this is one of those stupid ass viral trends from social media, man. This video got me real heated, man. Let's get 2 Chronicles chapter 36. And let's see. I'll start at verse 14. It says, moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed much after the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And these priests, man, they represent you niggas today, man, constantly rebelling, against the word. These brothers of Genesis teaching that the heathen can be saved. You YAH only Old Testament Israelites. And I'm going to disprove that theory too. I'm going to pull up evidences of Yahweh Shai, being mentioned in the Old Testament, man, Lord willing. It says, reading verse 14 again, moreover, all the chief priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord, the Most High power of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, which are what? The prophets, the seers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But what did these niggas do? But they mocked the messengers of the Most High, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy. And this is a prime example of the true messengers, the true men of Yahweh Bashim Shai being mocked, using Esau's technology to do so. That's wicked as hell, man. Because this devil, he not only does he have receipts on, the true men of Yahweh Bashim Shai, because we're the real threat, he has receipts on y'all niggas too, man. When Esau comes after, when Esau comes down with that sword, he's coming after all camps, man. No matter who, no matter what doctrine you teach, whether you still calling on Christ, whether you marching in the streets with your purple garments on, whether you say that you serve a nigga God, or whether you proclaim the name of Yahweh Bashim Shai in truth and sincerity, they gonna come after you niggas too, man. And you think that you gonna get away by saying, but I don't believe in Yahweh Shai. I only believe in the Most High Yah. That's foolish, man. But let's get the book of John, chapter 5, and verse 1. It says, and after this there was a feast of the Judeans, and Yahweh Shai went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, Salakia, having 5 porches. And in these lay a multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the movement of the water. So, in this place, you had sickly people with various bodily ailments. Like it says in the NLT, it says crowds of sick, blind, lame, or paralyzed lay on the porches. It says, for an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. When Yahushua saw him lie and knew that he had been a long time in that case, he said unto them, wilt thou be made whole? And the impotent man answered him and said, no. And said, sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool, but when I am coming, another steppeth down before me. So, he was, making this case known to Yahushua, that whenever, he was expecting for someone to put him in the pool, someone else, went before him. Verse 8, Yahushua said unto him, rise up and take thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. And this next verse is the point. It says, and the Judeans therefore said unto him that was cured, it is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. And he answered them, he that made me whole, the same said unto me, take up thy bed and walk. So, those wicked ass Israelites, those YAH only Israelites, like this man right here, that was still zealous of the law, not knowing that the Savior came to, give up himself and deliver us from the curse of the law. They tried to get on this man for taking up his bed on the Sabbath after Yahushua cured him, man. And this represents all you niggas today, man. They come after the men of the Lord, using all these different various methods of what you would call defamation of character, slandering our names. This is what you represent, man. Let's see, verse 14, it says, afterward Yahushua Salakia. Oh yeah, verse 12, it says, then asked they him, what man is that which said unto thee, take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Yahushua had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. Afterward Yahushua findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto me. The man departed and told the Judeans that it was Yahushua who made him whole. And therefore did the Judeans, Salakia, persecute Yahushua. They sought to slay him because he had done those things on the Sabbath. So, look, man, Yahushua and his messengers, his disciples, were always persecuted, by those Old Testament ass niggas, man, by those Pharisees, by those modern day, what you would call a YAH Israelite, man. And really, we're persecuted by pretty much everyone. We're the most hated camp. You had the brother and the elder in LA, who did the lesson, GMS is the most bugged out camp. We accept it. And we do indeed accept that title, man, being called the most bugged out camp. We accept that, man. Because we know what we're doing, man. We studied up in these scriptures. We know what we're talking about, and we're teaching the truth correctly and directly for our people to hear. And anybody that have a problem with it, hey, it is what it is, man. But overall, this is wicked as hell, using AI to make videos. Even of these other men that you see, like General Yohana, like us at Great Millstone, we don't believe in a lot of the things that he teaches. But are we going to make AI videos, making fun of him? No. We're going to teach the truth. We're going to correct what these men are saying, and we're going to keep it pushing. So I make a part 2, proving of Yahushua being mentioned in the Old Testament, to disprove this YAH Israelite. But I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Makakodash, the Belanas, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS, the Ruel, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Wa Abad Babal, and until the next lesson.